Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Otaku Talk. I am your host, OD, and today we'll be reviewing and analyzing chapters 191 and 192. For whatever reason, I wasn't able to do 191 last week. When I went to my normal manga sites, for whatever reason, it wasn't uploaded yet, and then, I don't know, for some reason, I just assumed maybe it was skipping, because for whatever reason, My Hero hadn't released that week. It's not like One Piece where I like check if author's on break. I kind of just check my check what's hot, and if it's up, I read it. If it's not, I'm like, oh, maybe it's not here. Maybe I'll check the next day, and if it's still not there, I'll be like, all right, whatever. And for whatever reason, on my manga sites, 191 wasn't there, but it did get released on Sunday as usual, and I just totally missed it. So I'll be combining the chapter reviews today. So let's get into it. Dr. Stone has had a tumultuous last two chapters. I cannot tell you. It's never been like, I don't want to say like kid friendly in terms of the action and violence, but it's never pushed to the degree that it is currently. So starting in 191, long story short, basically my boy figures out how to perfectly cut the stone so that there's a channel in the middle so that the energy can be utilized, so that it will power the Medusa devices, and so that they will be operable. Only thing that sucks is everyone over where Senku is right now, they don't have the time or ability to make any crystals, even with the knowledge presented to them by the watch craftsmen, because they are currently under attack. And I was actually really surprised by this. I thought it was going to be one of those things where, they just capture everyone. And like, I thought Zeno, would at least want to keep Senku alive to use him as like, a supercomputer, basically. Like, keep him prisoner, keep him like, tied up. He can't really do anything, but keep him around as someone that he can bounce ideas off of or see things from a different angle off of. Because you guys have to remember, they were able to locate, I forget, it was either the island or where they think Y-Man is by combining, by their combined computational, prowess. And so for his people to just straight up say, fuck it, and just start shooting everyone down, that was really, really surprising and scary to me. So yeah, we got a lot of action, these two chapters. So like I said, starting with 191, we have basically a free-for-all, right? Basically they get the message from Senku basically saying, hey, deal's off, get to the Medusa, activate the Medusa, and cover the whole world. Which, by the way, I had to reread several times because I just simply did not understand exactly what the plan was and what was going on for quite a bit. And so I had to reread, and then I was realizing okay, there's a lot of things at work here. But before I get into that, I just want to talk about how hard was it that all these people were just sacrificing their lives left and right to get this plan in order. It's honestly, it was super scary. And yes, I know that as long as they get petrified in time, they'll recover. But it's one thing, for example, I don't know, there's many things I've watched where the hero is immortal or can heal, but they're not invulnerable, right? Basically meaning they can get hurt, but getting hurt isn't a mortal wound to them. However, they still try to avoid getting hurt because it hurts like a bitch. If you get your hand cut off, you still have the pain of getting your hand cut off, despite, maybe being able to regrow it or reattach it or whatever, and healing, you still get that initial pain. These guys are getting riddled with bullets. Whole body just riddled with bullets. And that takes a lot of devotion. Once again, I agree that they have the mindset that, hey, we'll get revived as long as we're alive, blah, blah, but that's a big what if. That's a big what if. That's a big, if this comes to fruition, then this will all work out. Otherwise, you got a whole bunch of dead bodies and you're donezo. But, it was really impressive to see. You see one person, get this part open. Another person open up the trunk, and then you finish off with the watchmaker sticking his hand in. His hand, this part kind of got to me, but his hand was his watch was relaying a radio message from Y-Man, who apparently ever since he heard Senku's voice, I think it was way back on not Ishigami Village, whatever village they recruited the other people from, who actually had the Medusas and were using the Medusas. That village, I believe, is when Y-Man first heard his voice. Also, it's really interesting that the fact that like Y-Man still exists. Like, if he did this thousands of years ago, how is he still there? Is it a collection of people? Is it a family? Is it an organization of people that just all their generation is to monitor and suppress Earth? Is it an alien species that can last this long? We have so many questions, and Dr. Stone has no intention of answering them anytime soon. So, bro, it was gruesome how they shut the chest on my man's hand. Yeah, I don't know, like, people are getting shot, and then, like, and part of me is like, yo, because that looked like a heavy chest. Part of me is like, did he get his whole hand just kind of, like, severed from that chest closing? And for him to, even despite that, kind of have a cocky smile, like, yeah, I did it, I'm accomplished. That's scary, man. There's nothing, like, they pretty much all kamikazed for their goal, and it was beautiful to watch, but, like, it was also really sad and depressing to watch. So we're gonna move on. And by the way, like, I don't get it, man. I don't get this blind loyalty to Zeno, because at first, like, if it was a situation like with Senku where, Senku was single-handedly responsible for, freeing all these people using his revival fluid, or maybe, he's made their lives better with science. Well, technically he has. But, like, the combination of that, and also he had, like, a good purpose, I understand. But, like, from what I remember, a lot of these people weren't revived thanks to Zeno. They were just revived because they all have tremendous willpower, mental ability, and we found out that the more you were thinking and stuff, the quicker you can get released from your petrified state. Even though I was under the impression that Senku got a little bit of help from, not nitro acid, but the precursor to that from the guano, the bats in the cave. But I digress. I just don't get why they're just so gung-ho to, like, go with Xenos' plan, not revive anyone, and just be, pretty much obedient slaves to this scientist. And I'm like, y'all have to realize that won't go well, and that power unchecked is always corruptible. But anyway, for whatever reason, let's just, chalk it up to a story premise. They're listening to this man. So we activate the Medusa. Boom. The goal is set. So now we're at 192, right? And my homie with the bow and arrow is able to release the prisoners. They spring into action. A lot of them get shot, but Suika's able to get away with one of the revival bottles, right? And so pretty much what I thought was going to happen. I always assumed that Chrome was going to have a bigger role. Clearly he's like that TA, that up and coming scientist. He's what Senku was to Xenos, except not as smart as Senku. But I do think he is slightly, what they've been showing is he's slightly more creative. What Senku has to, like, brilliance, Chrome has to just pure scientific intrigue, curiosity. And honestly, it may be a situation where, even if Senku dies or something happens to Senku, or he gets to the moon and he, eventually is no longer, Chrome will be, like, end the series as, like, the smartest person. Because if you think about it, like, intrigue and creativity is what breeds strong scientists. Personally, I am with the philosophy that, like, learning to learn is boring, and there's no real, like, stake in it. And so for a lot of times, you're not really truly invested in the learning. But, like, when you truly want to know how something works, or how, like, things go together, like, when you have that natural curiosity and you choose to pursue that, I think that's when like true thoroughbred scientist comes out, because you're not just doing it to learn, you're not doing it to be pretentious, you're not doing it for a degree, you're doing it for your own personal knowledge. I think that's how things come to fruition. And so pretty much my theory, I don't know if I said in any of the videos, was they were going to do something similar, akin to, throwing up the revival fluid like they did before. However, things are completely different. I, in my wildest dreams, did not imagine that they would be using the Medusa device all the way across the globe. And now that just leaves me with so many other freaking questions. Because, all right, so far it looks like the plan is to put the revival fluid in the one spot where they were making the fault lines for the crystal, right? Because it was so powerful, it was shattering stuff. So boom, it'll shatter the revival fluid. It'll shatter the revival fluid, and whoever's under there can go and revive the others. Even though it seems that a lot of the revival fluid has been destroyed, I'm sure that there's a lot more. That there's some around, and if not, hopefully, like, they have some of the base materials to recreate it. This is a lot of speculation on my part. I will be 1,000% honest with you. I low-key want to reread parts of the series because my knowledge of like what exactly they have and don't have right now is a little fuzzy to me. I'm not even gonna front. It's a little fuzzy. But my main concern is we're at square one now. Hypothetically, first of all, we don't know when this thing's going to crack. I was under the impression that it was going to be, rather immediate. When the wave hits, it'll create the whatever. But for whatever reason, we don't know. So we don't know if, they'll be petrified for a couple minutes. And then, Suika or whoever's standing under there will get resurrected and then be able to resurrect everyone else. Or if it'll be years or hundreds of years or thousands of years like before, and every single thing Senku has done since he's been revived will be for naught, and he'll have to start over. Now, granted, he won't be alone this time, and more heads create more workforce, more units and whatnot. But like, it's kind of like, where do we go from here? And then on top of that, you can't forget this is everywhere. So all the residents of Ishigami Village now petrified. All the residents of the village they were just at previous to Corn City petrified. And then Corn City petrified. And those people can't come back. And they've already traveled halfway across the world. So what happens when they come back? Do they say, F it, continue our journey and just, collect all the rubber and all the other stuff they needed to collect? Or do they say, we need to go back and we need to unpetrify people, especially in Corn City, because in Corn City, they were supposed to be continuing to build that city and produce all the ethanol and all the other stuff that would be needed to mass produce the revival fluid. And obviously that can't be done if everyone's petrified. So I don't know. There's just a lot going on in this chapter. I don't know, even if all this works out, I don't know how we progress from here. The greatest thing that a story can ever have is, I forgot, not drama, but things to go wrong. Difficulty. I don't know why the word is slipping my mind, but basically, adversity makes the plot go forward. You don't want things to go right all the time in your story, and this is going to be a great plot device to see where we go from here. But this really does mess up our roadmap that Senku made of where we're going here next, here next, here next. Do we just say F it and continue on the journey? Do we say, shoot, we got to double back, revive everyone? So yeah, there's a lot at work. Also, all the people that got shot, you guys have to know that we're going to lose some characters. We already lost, what's his name? Shoga, the dude with the spear, he's gone. I've been seeing videos and reading on Reddit. People think Tsukasa's dead. I was watching a Tekking review video. He was under the impression Tsukasa was dead. I was not under the impression Tsukasa was dead. I thought he was shot hanging on for life. That's the same way I felt about Kohaku. And I will cry if Tsukasa's dead, mainly because, one, he's an amazingly cool character, and two, he is literally their strongest asset. And with Senku being their strongest brain asset, Taiju being their strongest durable asset, in terms of general, in terms of general strongest warrior fight force. Like, we need him. We do have other really strong, talented individuals, but there is no talent like Tsukasa, and I don't think this is like his place to die. But, you know, obviously not all bullet wounds are the same. And for everyone in Corn City who got shot, I'm sure some people just got shot. Some bullets may pass through. They'll be fine. But, you know, what about the people that may have got hit in the heart, may have got hit in a vital organ, may have got hit in the throat, and before they got petrified, they died? Like, from what I know, like, as long as you're on the verge of death, you can still be brought back. But if you're dead, it doesn't matter if it was an instantaneous death. If you've been dead for like like a second, you're dead and you can't come back. So I'm curious to see who will die, who the author will pick to come back and whatnot. I truly, unlike everyone else, I don't think Tsukasa's dead. Stay tuned to see me cry later on another video if that's the case. I really want to go on. I really want to go back to what's happening with Y-Man. Like I said, I totally forgot about what's happening with him projecting the voice back down. It seems like he's trying to re-petrify Earth. What's the process? Does he have a Thanos-like plan? I think I said this in one of my way earlier videos. Maybe he's trying to do like a Thanos thing where he's trying to give the world time to recover. Maybe it's just some kind of alien that hates humans. I can't think of what the grander plan of petrifying all of mankind is. Maybe he's trying to terraform it for people coming over from his planet, because clearly the Medusas, in my opinion, don't seem to be man-made. They have to be, they clearly don't have human origin. That's my opinion. They have to be from somewhere else. So maybe this is some kind of terraforming, conquering plan from aliens somewhere, and basically they go scout out inhabitable planets, petrify them, and then like the scouting unit stays by on their closest moon until the invasion party comes. Do I really know what's going on? No. Also, hopefully they would have, light speed technology and be here. It's been thousands of years, so I'm surprised they're not here yet. But, maybe their planet is really, really far away. Maybe the scouting agent or whatever got here a lot sooner than, I don't know. I honestly, like, conspiracy theorying, spitballing right now, but any of these things are possible, right? The biggest problem, by the way, is recreating the crystals, right? Because obviously we saw, and I believe it's his dominant hand. I could be wrong, but regardless, having one hand is going to handicap you regardless, because, when you're working with small things, you probably want to use both hands. For a small time at Radio Shack, I used to be a tech engineer, and I used to have to repair phones, and man, I cannot imagine doing that with one hand. Is it possible? Yes, but you're not going to be able to get some of the leverage and like advantages and just the ease of use you can with utilizing two hands. So if it's just broken, if the chest just kind of like crushed his bones, I think he'll be fine. Now, if it severed his hand, I think that's it, right? Like, unless when the revival fluid is applied and like maybe you attach it, because remember how the girl that Taiju likes went around, she's into arts and crafts, and went around reattaching and fixing everyone's cracks. So maybe if you glue back his hand, it's fine. But maybe if his hand is too destroyed or too jacked up, he's gonna come out one-handed, and so we're gonna have to have someone else make the crystals. Obviously, that would probably fall on the old man crafter, but as we saw, he's not really well suited to working with fine crafts. He's much more accustomed to larger things. So these have been a great 2 chapters. I'm full of excitement, anticipation, suspense, and I cannot wait to find out exactly what's going to happen in the next chapter and how we're going to progress. Right now, the main thing I need to know is what's the new plan. What is the new plan? Because right now, you've square one'd yourself. You've returned to zero. Like, you restarted the game and you forgot to save. And so I just want to know how we progress from here, how this will affect the story, because it looked like we were full steam ahead on progressing through the story. We had to hit this place, get rubber, hit this place, get this material, hit this place, get this material. And now it's like, what do? So anyway, thank you for tuning into the chapter review. I know it was relatively short. That's really all I had. All I really wanted to talk about on this chapter. And yeah, that's about it. If you like this, please like, share, and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, just what do you guys think, by the way? Sorry, I was about to cut out, but no. Let me ask some questions. Um, do you think that they're going to have to travel back and revive everyone that's been petrified, or do you think they're going to say, "Fuck it, we don't have time for that. Let's go collect all the materials we had and then go back." Most likely, they're going to collect if they decide to move forward. I think they have to move forward. If they decide to move forward at this point, I think what's going to happen is they move forward, collect all the things that they need. Um, and this is contingent on the fact that there's more revival fluid. It only looked like Suika was able to get one bottle. Maybe there's a bunch lying around. Maybe Xenos was like, of course, Senku would put it here, but Senku also, had a backup location for it. But if they do have revival, if they don't, obviously they have to go to Corn City and make more. If they do, I think they continue on their journey, collect all the other materials they need. Maybe possibly if they have a couple more, revive other people they meet along the journey. And then the first place they obviously have to go back to is back to Corn City, because one, they need to mass produce all the revival fluid. Two, they have agriculture going, so that's food and other stuff for them. And finally, they had enough materials to build planes and guns, and that's going to be something they're going to need, both in terms of traveling back to the places they just were in order to revive everyone, and also to protect themselves for when they start doing mass revivals. Because you have to realize, we've only revived a handful of people, and we're already at a world at war. We're at a world at war, and there can't be but 40, 50 people in the entire world. Like, let's add up all the people from Ishigami Village, Corn City, and the one place. There cannot be more than 50 to 100 people currently living, and we are already having wars, conflict, murder, fights, all that stuff with less than like 0.0001%, right, of like the current population of our world, like right now, like this world. Like, with such a small sample size, we're already having conflicts that require violence and death. And so if Senku's going to go about reviving the entire world, he's going to be reviving people that also do not have goals like him. Yes, he'll be reviving people that are allies, or maybe other people that are just, going to help him out of, we're indebted to you, you revive me. But there's going to be scumbags who were scumbags before they were petrified and are still scumbags now, and that are going to try to take things over. So yeah, please tell me what you think is going to happen. Anyway, like I said again, like, share, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great day. Take care. I'll see you next week.